Alright, so this is my review of Gundam Universe GU-19 Master Gundam, and this is a new line from Tamashii Nation's Bandai. A very budget line that's oriented towards Gundam fans across all the series pretty much. And in my opinion, these are pretty good figures, and they have their issues, so let's get right into the review. And if you're a fan of G Gundam like I am, you'll know how important this Gundam is, Master Gundam. And in terms of aesthetics, can't really complain. He looks exactly like he did in the show, in my opinion. You can't really compare this to a Master Grade because this is an action figure, so details are going to be a lot more subtle or vague compared to those, so not really a fair comparison. So for what it's worth, a $20 action figure, which is actually how much I paid for this guy on USA Gundam Store, he definitely looks great. So in terms of aesthetics, very clean. Some things that you could kind of nitpick are kind of like these mold lines here, like nub marks from just releasing out of the molds. And if you ever built a model kit, you know how annoying these are. But yeah, those are there. Not a huge issue, and yeah, you can see it especially like in the back of the knee. But you really have to look at it. So if you're just like posing him, you won't really notice too bad. But it's just something to be aware of. Other than that, in terms of aesthetics, I really can't, and it's amazing that this figure is only $20. I really can't find anything to kind of complain about. He looks great, in my opinion. So in terms of aesthetics, he gets a 4.5 out of 5. Plastic quality is all good. He has a nice finish to him. He's not extremely glossy. Not really quite a matte finish, but definitely not like a cheap, high gloss finish. So he does look good. So 4.5 stars there. And looking at his articulation, we'll just start from the top down. I will say that while the plastic quality is good, and yeah, this goes straight into articulation / engineering part of this review, while the plastic quality is dense, he's very heavy. And oh, before I forget, just let's get a quick measurement in terms of his height. So he stands at, let's see, it's like the top of his camera attachment on his head. A little over 6 inches. So right at the 6-inch mark, about maybe 6¼ inches. So definitely has good size to him. And in terms of weight, if you like hefty figures like I do, he's definitely heavy. And yeah, he's definitely heavy. So with his wings on, he weighs 4.5 ounces. Just for comparison, if you remember the recent Trunks review I did, Trunks with his sword and sheath, 2.7 ounces. So he's definitely a heavyweight. So for those people who care about heavy figures and see that as a mark of quality, he's heavy. So you won't be disappointed there. For a $20 figure, very impressive. Alright, so in terms of articulation, just starting from the top, head's on a ball joint, so you get around that much movement. Looks down, let me just put his arm down for a second. Looks down that much, looks up that much. Diaphragm is on a ball joint and a swivel, so you can bend forward. And be careful with these little plastic oblique parts. They do feel a little flimsy, so be careful when you're bending them down. They do just move apart. Doesn't seem to be a problem, but I don't like how they click like that, so be aware of that. So you can look down with the diaphragm about that much. Don't push it too hard, but yeah, that's what you get. He does have backwards movement a bit. That's about as much as you'll get. I thought he could go back that much. Arms are on a double ball peg, so get pretty good movement out of that. You do get butterfly movement also, which is very decent for a $20 figure. The shoulders themselves, they just go in on a ball peg also, so they come off easily if you need them to. Elbows are on a double. Wrists are on a ball peg. They come off nice and easily, and with just the right amount of force, so there's no fear of breakage or anything like that. Skirt pieces are on They peg into like a swiveling joint, so be very careful with those. They do not feel the best, but I haven't had any issues either way. So again, you know, heat your figures, oil them, helps a ton in avoiding breakages. Yeah, so they do move out of the way for the legs to come up, and see, one just flew off. Yeah, not a big deal. So it just flew off, and it just goes right back in, so not a huge deal. Yeah, but they do move out of the way for the legs. Just be aware that can happen. So legs do go up pretty well. They could technically come up as high as you could kind of get the skirt to go along with it. But they are on a ball joint, and they get pretty decent movement. There is a drop down also. It works if you need it. Now, I kind of have a gripe with the knees. Not very flush, like they rub up against each other. So technically it is a double jointed knee, but that's as much as you're going to get out of it, which is pretty kind of lame. So one thing is the calf seems way too long, and I hate when figures use a knee joint like this. That just looks ugly. So be aware of that. Oil your figures, because if you don't, you're going to get a lot of friction and plastic rub between kind of like his hamstring and like his shin piece here. So be aware of that. With the oil, I barely notice it. So use sewing oil. I can't emphasize that enough. Ankles, they're on a ball joint. 2 ball joints, so get pretty decent movement. It's kind of like the Naruto figure arts. If you notice, their ankles are on a double ball joint connected to the calf, which works very well. So you do get a very nice rocker here. So stances are not a problem. And obviously can't forget by the most glaring bit of articulation, the wings. Nothing wrong here. On a simple ball joint, they do what they need to. Wings could flex out like that. Looks great. Can't go wrong with the ball joint. And if you're interested, yeah, the wings have a swivel on them like that. Good. So it works for a $20 figure. Not a whole lot to complain about. Could be better, especially in the killing point of it is the knees. Like that should have been better. $20 or not, like that's a terrible design choice. So in terms of overall articulation engineering, you know, when you think about like the diaphragm piece being this cheap, flimsy plastic, who knows if that'll break in the future, the crappy knees, and considering the fact that everything else is pretty much decent, he deserves a 3.5. So can't really excuse the knees. For people who don't know how to fix plastic rub and marks like that, that's going to be very annoying. So that's something to take into consideration. I don't like that oblique section. That feels very tinny and kind of crappy. But overall, can't complain. So 3.5, very solid rating for a $20 figure, and I'm very happy with it. So just to show you, like, you know, he could do a stance very easily. Again, be careful with the annoying skirt piece. Again, yeah, it just really just like, I'm going to keep it off for now, but he can do a nice karate stance quite easily. And yeah, I always get a little rough with my figures, because if they can't handle getting posed, they don't deserve to be in my collection. And yeah, he does a pose very well. So he does a generic karate pose very well. No awkward seating with the ankles, like the feet stay flush with the floor. It works. So can't complain there. So he does what you expect it to. You could easily pull off a karate pose. Skirt pieces are very annoying. So yeah, overall 3.5 out of 5 for articulation. Moving on, in terms of accessories, comes with almost nothing. Can't really count the wings as an accessory. That does come as like something you had to peg in. So he does come with 2 darkness hands, which look really nice. Very nice metallic finish on those. Let me just get my meat paws out of the way. Those look excellent. So this looks like some of the like acrylic paint that I use sometimes. That looks just amazing. That looks great. And I like the decision to go with metallic. Personally, I think a clear plastic would have looked nicer, but maybe that's more expensive, so that's understandable. This still looks cool. A clear dark purple would have been insanely, like, just next level in my opinion, but these look great. And there is some kind of holder that comes with him also. for like a flight stand. So you get that too. Okay, so that's pretty much it in terms of accessories. It doesn't really come with anything else. So in terms of accessories, probably 3 out of 5. Why? Because if you watch the show, you know that Master Asia comes with a purple kind of obi or sash that he uses as a weapon. Would have been nice if we get that. Or at the very least, some karate hands or something. So, little light on the accessories, even at the $20 price point. And, you know, I got this on USA Gundam store for $20, so technically he's 25. So, for 25 bucks, you could have done with a few more accessories. I don't think that would have hurt them. So, just literally an alternate pair of karate hands, or especially that purple sash that he always uses as a weapon. That would have been sick. And it's actually iconic, so it would have been really nice to have that. Okay, so 3 out of 5 for accessories. And in terms of overall value, still a 5. Okay, so and the reason is because, in my opinion, he's pretty cheap. I got him for $20, and if you look around, and I'm not sure, you could still check USA Gundam store, they might have him for 20 bucks. That's not a bad price at all, in my opinion. So, and this part always varies, you know, it's in terms of what you're comfortable paying, but for me, 20, 25 bucks, I'm very happy with this figure. And he does have a premium feel to him. He's very hefty, and he poses well enough. He can do karate poses. I'm not expecting master grade level articulation, so keep that in mind. I'm being a little bit more generous considering how cheap this guy is. So, given that, yeah, definitely a 5 out of 5. I don't think anyone would really be disappointed buying this, but be aware, heat him generously. Heat him generously and buy some sewing oil, and you'll be very happy with this figure. Some quick scale comparisons. So here he is up against SH Figuarts Trunks. Okay, and if you're wondering if you could put these guys next to like a real grade, I was wondering the same myself. Nope, no way you can. This is just a real grade Burning Gundam in progress, but yeah, can't do it. So yeah, real grades are definitely smaller. And just one more that I have out here, just random from NECA, obviously. And, you know, it's Sylvanas, so a little bit shorter than most NECAs, because female figure. Yeah, NECAs will always have some size on these kind of like Japanese imports. But yeah, overall he looks good on in any collection, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright, so in terms of scaling, yeah, he's fine. Can't really complain. So, in terms of an overall rating, 4.5 for aesthetics. Yeah, he looks great. Aside from nub marks and things like that, he looks very nice, and gets a 4.5 there. In terms of articulation, 3.5, just given the overly tight joints and the kind of lackluster legs, in terms of the knees at least, 3.5. So, in terms of accessories, 3 out of 5 because they were very light with the accessories. 3 out of 5 there for sure. And wrapping it up with the overall value, 5 out of 5. And using my weighted average system, which I introduced in the last video with Trunks, he gets a very respectable 3.95 stars out of 5. So definitely worth a pickup. Won't really be disappointed at this price point. If you have any questions, let me know. And definitely leave a comment, subscribe. And I just do this for fun. I just review my figures as I get them. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Take care.